I'm using a throwaway account because saying this out loud feels deeply embarrassing. I never imagined I'd find myself in this situation, yet here I am, lost, hurting, and confronting the fallout of my own choices. My name is Lily. I'm 24 years old. My husband, though I'm not sure I can still call him that, is 26. We've been married for 3 years, ever since we met in college. I used to think we were strong. Not flawless, but secure. Jack was my foundation, calm, grounded, endlessly patient. Looking back now, I realize how much I failed to truly appreciate him. I didn't just overlook his efforts, I took him for granted. Our personalities couldn't have been more opposite. Jack was reserved and introverted. He was content spending evenings with a book or a documentary. I, on the other hand, craved energy. I lived for laughter, social gatherings, being surrounded by people. And Jack never tried to dim my light. He came to every get-together, smiled through every noisy evening, just to see me happy. Even when I could sense he was uncomfortable, he never voiced it. He never complained. He was always there, bringing me my favorite coffee, canceling his plans when I needed him, taking care of our home without hesitation. I didn't have a job. We didn't have children. But he still did all the cooking, cleaning, and paid every bill, and not once did he ever use that to make me feel indebted. Instead of being thankful, I began to view him as weak. And that perception didn't come from nowhere. Things started to change after I reconnected with a few friends from college. They lived for chaos, late nights, and impulsive decisions. They told me I was wasting my youth by being married. That someone like me, so full of energy and life, wasn't meant to be tied down to someone as quiet as Jack. And the worst part is, I started to believe them. One night, after drinking too much, I made Jack the punchline of my jokes. I laughed about how he always did whatever I said, how he'd probably jump off a cliff if I asked him to. My friends laughed. I laughed. In that moment, I felt powerful. But I didn't understand how ugly that power truly was. That wasn't just a one-time lapse in judgment. It became a pattern. I made Jack into a joke. I let my friends laugh at him, and I never stepped in to defend him. Worse, I joined them. They teased him, called him whipped, said I was the one in charge. And I basked in the attention like it was something to be proud of. Jack never confronted me. Even when I knew he overheard some of it, he stayed the same, kind, giving, constant. I mistook his silence for approval. I thought his quiet meant it didn't bother him. I always believed he'd never walk away, that his love for me was too strong to let go. But I started showing him disrespect openly. Whether at dinners or parties, I'd cut him off, dismiss his thoughts, or simply ignore him altogether. Gradually, others began to follow my example. My attitude toward him set the mood, yet he never raised his voice. He kept bringing me flowers, kissed me goodnight, and told me he loved me every single morning. Then came the neighborhood party, the night everything changed. Jack was by the grill, just like usual, smiling and serving everyone. I was drinking with my friends when the conversation shifted to husbands. One of them joked about Jack being trained, and I took it even further. I laughed loudly, calling him spineless and saying he didn't know how to say no to me. I was performing for the crowd, soaking in the laughter. But then the mood shifted. Suddenly, silence fell. Jack was standing right there. He had heard every word. The look in his eyes, calm, distant, resolute, was something I'd never seen before. Quietly, he said, "We need to talk." I followed him, heart pounding but unaware of what was coming. Away from the crowd, he looked at me and said, "I'm done being your punching bag. I gave you everything, and all you've done is tear me down. I'm leaving. You can collect your things from the porch." Then he turned and walked away. I ran after him, convinced he was bluffing. But when I got home, my bags were already packed. I cried, begged, apologized, but he didn't get angry. He simply said, "No more. You can't treat me like this and expect me to stay." When I insisted I wasn't going anywhere, he warned he'd call the police if I refused to leave. That's when it hit me. This was real. The man I thought would never stand up to me had finally reached his limit. I left that night with a suitcase in hand, tears streaming down my face. Neighbors watched it all, but said nothing. Not even the friends who used to laugh with me spoke up. Now I realize, they were never truly my friends. It's been a few days. I'm staying at my parents' house. Jack hasn't answered any of my calls or messages, and maybe he never will. I don't know if there's a way to fix this, or if it can even be fixed at all. All I know is I shattered something beautiful. I pushed away a man who loved me completely because I wanted to be admired by people who never cared about me. I mocked the one person who truly cherished me. Jack finally found his strength, and I lost him for good. I needed to say this out loud. Maybe some will think I'm awful. Maybe I am.